What's up, dudes? I'm This is my third attempt at trying to record this video because the first time there's no audio, the second time there's just too much audio. I just can't win. Hopefully this time it works out well for us. Welcome back to week 7, the final week of the KCBL. We are playing Gliscor Guy, and just as I mentioned in the last video, this team was already built. This team was built a while ago because I knew we clinched a playoff spot. Actually, I thought I knew, and I got scared for a minute because I thought they were only going to let 2 teams in, but they let 3 in. And then this battle would have mattered a lot more, of course. But yeah, so playoffs is guaranteed. We actually have to play Gliscor Guy in the first round anyway because Black clinched the first spot, and he and I are kind of duking it out for the 2 and 3 spot. Nobody else is really particularly close in our division, so it's guaranteed that one of us will be the 2 and one of us will be the 3 and play in the first round. This is scary for me because I'm pretty sure Gliscor Guy stands for GG. He's rocking the same record as me with 1 differential higher at the moment, and he's got a pretty scary team to back it up. Mega Lopunny, Mew, Mimikyu, Lycanroc, Dusk, Registeel, Gligar, Tangela, Volcanion, Sneasel, Raichu, and Haxorus. So you can see he's got a lot of bulk with the Registeel, Gligar, and Tangela, of course. He's also got the power with stuff like Lopunny, Mew, Volcanion, Haxorus. He's got his bases pretty well covered here. But luckily for me, I don't have to worry about it too much because we are doing a fun game first. He and I spoke about our doubleheader here. And instead of just like not playing a game that doesn't matter, we decided to just play a fun game. And I did have a fun strategy prepared for this game. So let's get right into it. First up is defensive Landorus. We haven't brought him too many times, maybe like 2 or 3 times at most. But he's got a lot of physical attackers. In fact, pretty much every threat except for like Mew and Raichu is a physical attacker. So Intimidate's going to be really nice to have. Scrafty was tempting as well, but I opted not to. Excuse me. And we are packing the Yachi Berry in case he does get clever and try to predict Ice Punch with Lopunny or something. We do have stored power Clefable, and I really wanted to run the Cosmic Power set so bad. Unfortunately, I need the special attack from Calm Mind in order to break through Registeel because that's how fat that thing is. Even at +6 with Cosmic Powers, you can't break through Registeel. So, well, you probably can. But then you risk like flinches from Iron Head or crits from Heavy Slam or something like that because Heavy Slam does not quite 50% to this spread, but pretty darn close. So it's not a game you want to play there. Next up we have Scizor. Yes, I messed up. Just got a little too excited to make this team, I guess. Swords Dance, Bullet Punch, Knockoff, Roost. Knockoff I thought would be really nice because he does have those 2 fat Violent Mons in Tangela and Gligar. Could be clutch for getting some leftovers out of Registeel or something, and just like nuking stuff. Dark is pretty spammable versus him. Also, we have this is what you're all here for this week. These last 3 Pokemon. We've got Trick Room, Healing Wish, Psychic, and U-Turn Mesprit. So we can ideally get up Trick Room multiple times and U-Turn out into the star of the show. Sally the Camerupt, max special attack, almost max HP, but a good chunk of defense because we want to live. We live an Aqua Tail from Spadef Gligar, and we do have the HP Ice. If it is Spadef, we won't be able to. We might not KO it in 1. There's a chance. It's like I think like a 40% chance or something, maybe less, 43. I don't know. But if he's max Spadef, he can live. But we can also live an Aqua Tail. And if he is not max Spadef, then we just KO him with HP Ice. We also have Fire Blast, Flamethrower, and Earth Power because his whole team is hit neutrally by those. In fact, pretty much nothing. He's got his fire resists include Volcanion, Lycanroc, and Haxorus. Lycanroc and Haxorus are super frail and are going to go down to any follow-up move. They probably died to 2 Fire Blasts or 2 Flamethrowers. Didn't calc it, don't need to. Sally is just poised to put in the work for Spadef EVs. I want to pretend that's significant, but it's not. And finally, we have our lead of choice, Trick Room Dusclops. The plan here, as you can see, to get up that sun, Trick Room, then Memento, kill stuff for like 3 turns with the star, and yeah, just take it from there. Then Marley can set up and repeat the process. And the rest of the guys are really just here to cheer on our 3 closers here. So without further ado, let's hop into the battle. As you can see, he's got the speed, Mega Lopunny, Sneasel, Lycanroc, Dusk, and the bulk, Registeel, Gligar, and Tangela. So it looks like kind of a balanced squad. But as you'll soon see, Gliscor Guy is a master of the heat. Like again, we're going to lead with the Dusclops like we had planned. He's going to go ahead and lead with his Lichen Rock. So I feel like I'm in a pretty safe position. I can take 2 or 3 crunches, and I just decided to go for the strategy. I don't know if he's going to taunt or not. If he's an anti-lead, if he's an anti-lead, he would taunt there. So I assume because he just went for rocks, that he's not an anti-lead. Could just be a designated suicide lead with like, well, even then he should still have taunt. But because he doesn't taunt first, I'm really surprised because I could have just gone for Trick Room and Memento right there. But he's probably not too worried because he's Sash maybe. And he goes for the taunt there, so I'm not able to get the Trick Room after the sun. So I just decided to Seismic Toss for some chip damage and to break a potential sash. He goes for the counter, maybe forgetting him a ghost type or that it's a fighting move. I'm not sure. I just go for the Seismic Toss again to see if I can like wear off this taunt because I'm not really threatened right there. Like he could go for crunch, but it's not really that scary to me. This, however, is because he can knock off my Violite and make it very difficult to set up Trick Room later. Although I could definitely still do it on like Gligar and Registeel and maybe the Tangela because they're all pretty passive Pokemon. But I'd rather not risk it because I do have a pretty solid defensive response sitting right in the back. Hello, Iron Mantis. Even though he's not Bullet or he's not Technician, it's not the end of the world because we can take it. But he Calm Minds up. This boy, who knew an Ice type could be so heat? And he's packing the Babiri Berry, designated to take on this Scizor. If the sun was up and if we weren't as bulky, he definitely would have KO'd there. But we're able to 2-hit KO with Bullet Punch. So I actually didn't even notice Technician was missing because of that Babiri Berry. And the Registeel's here. We're pretty low. I just decided, let's try to nuke this thing. Launch that Black Hole Eclipse. It does 25%. It does basically nothing. And he goes for a power-up punch. What? I decided that I'm just going to keep this around because I might want to Bullet Punch the Lycanroc later. Who knows? And I think even with attack boost, I don't think he can really do anything to Dusclops. Registeel's super weak. But he goes for the Iron Head and does 22%, which is way more than I expected. Yes, I know he's +1, but this is Dusclops. And because he gets the flinch, I can't get up the sun and Trick Room guaranteed, so I just go straight for the Trick Room and Memento. Yes, I know he's Clear Body. This is for initiative. This is actually a pretty cool set because he's a physical attacker that Landorus can't intimidate, and he does, as you can see, have the Sub-Zero Slammer. So we now have Sally the Camerupt in under Trick Room. His only fire resist, as you can see, just drops to the Flamethrower. And Sally's poised to pick up 2 more KOs here if all goes well. In comes the Gligar. We'd already talked about this, getting that HP Ice. The crit, I asked him about it. He was not Max Spadef Gligar, so the crit didn't matter. And I decided to switch out here because I'm expecting he's going to try to fake out to stall out a turn of Trick Room. Although I should have thought about it, like he could have done that sooner instead of going into the Gligar. But I think he just wanted to show off. He did have the Aqua Tail. He wanted to show off that tech. He's Cosmic Power Lopunny, which at that moment I'm like, oh crap. I'm not unaware Clefable, guys. I'm Magic Guard. I didn't think this was going to happen, and I can't run, or I didn't have my own Cosmic Power, so this is actually a pretty big threat, so I'm just going to, I Intimidate it, and luckily he doesn't have Ice Punch. I'm just going to keep chipping him down. Luckily, even defensive Landorus is still pretty strong, and Lopunny's not particularly bulky, so I'm able to at least get him in range, I think, of, I don't know if he was in range of Bullet Punch because I wasn't Technician. But it doesn't matter because Landorus got the KO. Tangela comes in. I decide there's no reason to keep this in and sack it. I'm just going to U-turn out. It does a ton of damage. So this thing is obviously offensive. Go into Mesprit because you guys know the plan. I'm going to Trick Room and go into Camerupt. And he gets up the sun for me. Yes, he's Chlorophyll, so he's pretty fast right now. And he's Life Orb, so he did a lot of damage. But Marley's able to get up Trick Room and then Healing Wish back into Camerupt. And guys, there's an offensive Grass type and an offensive Steel type sitting in front of Sally the Camerupt under Trick Room with 3 turns in Sun. I don't have to tell you guys how this ends. Sally the Camerupt is going to clean up and get 4 KOs this week. This brings Sally's total to 7 KOs, 0 deaths, making her the number 2 kill leader on the Avengers in the KCBL, beat out only by Landorus. Landorus has, I think, 9 or 10 and maybe like 4 or 5 deaths because he's been defensive a couple times. Not that many. I typically for offensive Landorus because I think it's just so powerful against most teams. But in terms of differential, Sally the Camerupt is actually the best offensive Pokemon on our team. And it hasn't even come every week. Sally has come, I want to say like 3 or 4 games. I was going to say 3 or 4, but I think 3 games tops. and it just performs like a star every single time. Sally the Camera, thank you for another excellent performance with your 4 KOs today. And thank you, Gliscor Guy, for a really fun and exciting game. There was so much heat, like every turn. I had no idea what was going to come next. So it was really exciting to see all the creative sets that he came up with in this game. That's the end of our regular season, guys. I want to take a quick second to reflect on some stuff, and then we'll hop into Game 2 versus Gliscor Guy, which is the playoffs. But I wanted to talk a little bit about low-tier megas like Camerupt, and I had originally planned to draft a team to support Mega Bayonet in this league. And I think a lot of people look at low-tier megas like Camerupt and Bayonet as kind of memes because they're a little more difficult to use, particularly because Bayonet is more of a support Pokemon, although it can be very powerful with that 164 with those 164 offensive stats. I think it's 164. It's over 160. I know that. Unfortunately, Shadow Claw I think is its best offensive move, but it does have access to priority with like Shadow Sneak, Sucker Punch. Prankster, of course, gives it a lot of different priority moves. I think it's a really useful Pokemon in draft, and because Megas are commonly like really hard hitters, like you get Pinsir or Mega Gallade and Mega Medicham and stuff like that, people tend to think like, oh, you should get power out of your Mega pick. And yeah, I kind of did that with Camerupt, but I think the lower tier Megas kind of get crap for being a little bit harder to use. But one thing that they've been able to do, in my experience using Camerupt here, was to be able to get 3 tier 1 picks. We had Landorus, Clefable, and Scizor. These are 3 extremely powerful and competent Pokemon that you can bring just about every week. And because of that, I felt it made the whole team stronger. And in the niches that Camerupt came in, it was able to really perform, particularly because the team supported it well. And I couldn't have done that if I didn't have something like Landorus. Landorus, listen, if you don't bring HP Ice against my team, if you bring HP Water, you're making a terrible mistake because that just gives Landorus more opportunities to sweep you. You have to have an Ice move for Landorus, which makes Camerupt's job a lot easier. It can take on most electric types more easily. It can be the defensive one. You're pretty much always investing in HP or bulk with this Pokemon. And you don't even need to. One of the things I encountered, I think when I played Blue, is like I was max Badef and I was still OHKOing things because of how powerful this Pokemon is. So the whole reason I brought this up is because I want you guys to broaden your horizons and go ahead and try a low tier Mega and see if it works for you. Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section if you've tried using a low tier Mega before, and let me know how it went for you guys and what you learned from the experience. So that being said, that's it for the regular season of the KCBL. Next video, we'll be hopping into the playoffs once again against Gliscor Guy, so hope to see you in that one. All right, guys. Bye-bye.